What's up, Bob here. Welcome to a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. So it's a little bit dark, I apologize for that, but hopefully you'll be able to see everything. Anyways, we are going to be going over my first place Demise Cliffort deck. I ended up topping locals with this. It's a poop deck that is really, really annoying and everybody hates it. So we're going to just explain what we were running. It's not anything super duper out there, but it's some of it's a little different. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Anyways, yeah, I went 4-0. I'll tell you about matchups and stuff afterwards. But anyways, first off, we were running 1 copy of Scout, 1 copy of Monolith. They're your summoners art targets. Very, very good, especially Scout. He's obviously the better of the two. 2 copies of Helix, 2 copies of Carrier. Helix is the better of the 2 of these, in my opinion, just because you're able to pop back row and stuff. But Carrier is pretty good. It was pretty clutch for me. Next up, 1 copy of Shell. Now, Shell is nice for putting on big damage just on the board. And then 2 copies of Stealth. Now, Stealth, I've seen a lot of people running 3 of those. I only run the 2. I think it's better at 2 because leaves us room for 1 copy of Disc. Now, Disc is one of my favorites. I actually really like being able to run this at 1. It's searchable, but when you summon him, you're able to bring out your little guys, your Carrier and a Helix, straight from the deck, and you're able to use those as tribute fodder for the rest of the game, really. And I think that's actually really, really important. Just being able to get those, A, on the field, put on some damage, but also in your extra deck. I think it's really, really nice to be able to continue tributing those guys for the rest of the duel. Assuming the opponent is able to survive that initial onslaught, you're actually putting a lot of resources just on there to be used later. I think that's really valuable. So I like having Disc. I don't have anything that really impedes my special summoning in the main deck, so Disc is definitely good. Alright, next up, we've got spells, and obviously we're going to be running 3 copies of Pot of Demise and 3 card of Duality. Now, obviously that's a joke, but anyway, yeah, 3 and 3, really, really good. I only actually saw this, I think, like 4 times over the course of the day, and that's in 4 different matches, so, it happens. Anyways, 2 copies of Summoner's Fart, because we want to be able to fart out those summons, and basically get 2 Scout really quick. 1 copy of Sacrifice because it's really, really good. Generally speaking, I search that with Scout as soon as I can because it's like one of the best cards on the deck. 1 copy of Monarchs Stormforth. I side at the second. It's really, really good. Just being able to tribute your opponent's monster to summon something. It's, obviously it's really nice. And you have a lot of stuff that you can tribute. Tribute for. So that's really cool. Then 2 copies of Necro Valley. Amazing, amazing main deck card. Just being able to lock out your opponent out of the graveyard. Lock down pretty much all their stuff. It really hurts BA. It really hurts Monarchs. It really, really hurts a lot of meta decks. So I think it's really cool. Next up, 2 copies of MST because it's just kind of there. I just like being able to pop some opponents back row so they can't stop me from doing stuff and I can stop them from doing things. So that's cool. Now these guys, I actually might think about taking these out. This was kind of a thought, but it kind of bricked on me a couple of times. 1 Raigeki and 2 Dark Holes. Yeah, I'd probably drop at least 1 of these. Although they were really nice. They were kind of clutch for me against, against one of my matchups. But generally speaking, they kind of bricked on me a lot, and I was seeing them instead of traps, which is kind of annoying. Not that if I switch those out with some traps, it'd be nice. And then last but not least, 1 copy of Limiter Removal. Not a lot of people are running this, but I like it in any machine deck, so I was running it. I think it's really good. Just being able to, okay, I'm going to, go, pretty much anything, and just Limiter Removal and just poke for game. It's good defensively, because if your opponent's trying to run something over, you can just, Limiter Removal, and now you're dead. But yeah, this was nice for poking for game. I never actually used it, but in testing, this was amazing, so I like it. Yeah, generally speaking, you've got a good grind game, and even if you're leaving your board open, you'll see I'm running, I'll tell you now, I'm running Rippling Mirror Force, so it's good. Alright, so anyways, we got, for Cliffort Traps, we were running 1 Launch, 1 Climate Change. Launch is actually pretty, oh my god. Let's see, okay. Launch is actually decent, just because it lets you negate your own effects and just be able to be immune to certain things. It basically lets you dodge Raigekis and stuff. I actually really like it. I drew into this instead of a real trap. I drew into both of these instead of real traps in one game, and it kind of lost it for me. But generally speaking, they're pretty good. Next up, 2 Solemns, 1 Strike, 1 Warning. I only have the 1 Strike. Otherwise, it'd be 2. 1 Bottomless because it's really good. 1 Vanities because it's also really good. 1 Skill Drain because it's like the best trap in this deck. 2 Rivalry because it's like the second best trap in this deck. Being able to just limit your opponent. I never had a match where this was dead. So, I know there are some, but I never had one because locals, you know. Anyways, 2 copies of Drowning Mirror Force. Sorry, I still like calling it Rippling. Drowning is really morbid. Anyways, and then last trap, 1 copy of Soul Transition. It's really nice to just be able to, like, okay, you're going to kill my guy anyway, let's Soul Transition it. And if you pair that with, like, you know, one of your little guys, this can be really annoying if they're trying to attack and you can distribute your own guy and, like, okay, bounce you, I draw 2 cards. Really nifty. So yeah, that's those guys. Next up, we've got the extra deck, and it is a bunch of irrelevant stuff. Yeah, cool. Never used it. And then, side deck. So this was just stuff I kind of decided generally, because I wasn't really sure what I would be saying. So, 1 copy of Laser Clip, because it's a really good field spell, just letting you tribute for an extra monster. I don't know, I like it. Another copy of Monarchs Stormforth. Glad I sided that, because I sided it in at one point, and I drew it, and I was really happy about it. 3 copies of Imperial Ironwall, because it ruins certain matchups. 3 Mask of Restrict. This was for any pure Monarchs that I saw. I didn't see any. I know it hurts this deck a little bit, but not really that much, and it completely stalls their deck, so it would have been worth it. But again, never saw any. 2 copies of Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Amazing. Sided it in once, and it won the game. Well, sort of. It was the final nail in the coffin in the game. It was really good. 2 Light Imprisoning Mirror. Never sided it. 3 Lose 1 Turns. This was for Mermails that I ended up fighting them, but it's just a good card generally in this deck, so I like it. So, yeah, it worked pretty well. Anyways, as for matchups, my matchups were in this order. Zealgigas Gishkis, which were really cool. I beat them 2-0. Monarch BA something. It was like extra deck Monarchs with Burning Abyss and all sorts of weird, you know, crazy combo cards. And they ended up going 3-1 on the day, but I was their only loss. I beat them 2-0. Then I was up against Pepe, it was like Dracopals, I guess. Is that still a thing? Yeah. But anyway, I bricked first turn. I drew, you know, all my Cliffort cards and then a bunch of monsters and stuff, and ended up having to, like, not do anything. Anyway, I beat them 2-1. It was kind of close, but they kind of misplayed at the end, and I was able to really punish them very quickly. I don't think they would have OTK'd me that turn, but I was able to just kind of, you know, put together another board and win. And then last matchup was Mermails, because they're really good, and they've been pretty much terrorizing my locals, Dakota and his Mermails, and I beat them 2-1. So yeah, that was cool. Anyways, yeah, that is it for this deck profile. Feel free to net deck it, and, you know, any comments and stuff. I'm probably going to take out the Dark Holes, at least. Maybe not the Regeki, I like Regeki. But, I don't know, thing is, they won me a couple of games, but they also probably lost me a couple of games. But the games that they won were kind of more important than the games that they lost. I don't know, whatever. They were okay. I like them in theory. And limiter removal was amazing, so run that. Anyways, yeah, that's going to be it. I will see you later. Bye, guys.